Welcome back to Bubonicon 2020. Next up, Science Fiction Writers of America Grandmaster Connie Willis with an extremely early teaser of her next novel. Welcome, Connie.
Hi, everybody. Yes, I'm going to be reading from The Road to Roswell, my UFO novel, which is just about done. A few revisions left. So anyway, I'll give you a little bit of background so you'll know where we are before I start reading. Francie has come out to New Mexico to be her friend Serena's maid of honor at her wedding and to talk her out of getting married. Serena's always getting engaged to nut jobs, base jumpers, new age gurus, etc., and now a UFO nut. Before, she's always come to her senses in time, and Francie's job is to be there to help her pick up the pieces. Francie certainly hopes that'll be the case this time too, but when she calls Serena from the airport in Albuquerque, Serena tells her delightedly that the wedding is going to be at the UFO Museum in Roswell and that Francie won't believe what her maid of honor dress is going to look like. Francie has now rented a car and driven down to Roswell to meet Serena at the museum, and that's where we start, okay? Main Street was jammed with people setting up kiosks and tents and banners reading, "Get your alien tattoos here," "Space burgers," and "ET extra tequila sunrises." And she had to fight her way through vendors waiting to sell her alien repellent and "What Happens in Roswell Gets Shipped to Area 51" t-shirts, and vile-looking fluorescent green snow cones and cotton candy. There was a line outside the museum waiting to get in, and another one inside, complete with its own screaming toddler. And when Francie finally worked her way to the front and explained she was with the wedding, the ticket seller, wearing a "The Truth Is Out There" t-shirt, had to check with his supervisor before giving her a yellow sticker to put on her blouse and saying, "They're in the back." Francie put the sticker on and started toward the rear, working her way past framed newspaper clippings, a display of the wreckage from the 1947 UFO crash, which looked suspiciously like fragments of a weather balloon, an alien floating in a plexiglass tube full of green liquid, which looked suspiciously like the alien in Independence Day, photos of crop circles, and a U.S. map of UFO sightings, to a large open space with a cement floor. There was a diorama of an alien autopsy on one side, a wall full of movie posters from War of the Worlds and Mars Attacks on the other, and a life-size crash flying saucer in the front. Beside the flying saucer stood 4 aliens. They were painted silver and had large heads, skinny elongated limbs, and aluminum foil collars. And the whole thing looked like something a 4th grader might have made. But the people standing in front of it didn't seem to care. They were oohing and awing over it. One woman said it looks just like the real thing, and taking pictures with their phones. And when the saucer's top suddenly opened and emitted a hissing burst of steam, they jumped as if they expected a real alien to emerge. Serena wasn't part of that crowd, and Francie wondered if there was another room behind this and started for the back. But halfway across, Serena and a man emerged from a door marked "No Admittance." The man had a bushy beard and large stomach and was wearing a "Keep Calm and Probe On" t-shirt. Serena was talking intently to him, and it looked like they were arguing. "Please don't let that be Reverend Buckley," Francie thought. "Serena," she called to her, and Serena shrieked and flung herself at her. "Finally, I was about to give up hope," she said. "What happened? I kept Reverend Buckley here as long as I could, but he had a lecture to give." "I'm sorry," Francie said, but Serena wasn't listening. "Did you have trouble finding the museum?" she was saying. "Where did you park?" Francie began, but Serena had already turned to the bearded man. "This is my maid of honor, Francie," she told him. "And you must be Russell, the groom," Francie said, stepping forward to shake hands with him. "No, Russell's not here," Serena said. "He and Larry got word that there'd been a sighting, and they went to check it out." "A sighting?" Francie said. "Of a UFO, the bearded guy said in a "What planet are you from?" tone. "Out west of town." "Russell's an expert on UFO landings," Serena said proudly. "He's writing a book about them." So no, not coming to her senses, Francie thought, her heart sinking. "This is the second sighting this week," bearded guy said accusingly. "This is PD," Serena said. "He's in charge of events here at the museum, like our wedding." "It's nice to meet you," Francie said, extending her hand. He ignored it. "I'll go check and see if we've got a black light," he said to Serena, and disappeared through the door marked "No Admittance." The moment he was gone, Serena grabbed Francie's arm and said, "I'm so glad you're here. I have to talk to you." "About what?" Francie said, hope stirring in her again. "About this." Serena waved a hand at the alien autopsy diorama. "Look at it. I'm going to get married somewhere romantic, not surrounded by dead aliens." She walked over to the diorama. Two department store mannequins dressed as a lab-coated doctor and a businessman in a black suit and fedora, both wearing surgical masks, stood looking down at a wizened gray alien on a gurney. "What's that supposed to be?" Francie asked, pointing at the businessman in the suit. "One of the men in black," Serena said, as if that explained everything. "I can't get married with that staring at me," she said, pointing at the alien. "Could you ask what was his name, PD, to put a screen in front of it?" Serena shook her head. "I already asked. PD said it's in the contract Russell signed that we can't move anything. And he said all the other weddings have loved it, that some of them have even incorporated it into their service. He said one bride put the bouquet in the alien corpse's hands instead of throwing it. But that seems really ghoulish," Francie said. "Yes, oh, I knew you'd understand. What am I going to do? I'm counting on you to get me out of this mess. It's too late to move the wedding, and anyway, everything in town is already booked. The only reason we were able to get the museum is because Russell's such a big deal in UFO circles. His new book just hit Close Encounters magazine's bestseller list," she said proudly, "and the museum thought our wedding would be good publicity for them," which I'll bet is the real reason they refused to move the exhibit, Francie thought. "Russell originally wanted the wedding to be out at the crash site," Serena was saying. "I didn't think that was a good idea. I told him you're deathly afraid of snakes, but he said they wouldn't be a problem, that they're more afraid of you than you are of them." That is not possible, Francie thought, shuddering at the mere thought of the slithering reptiles. "And besides, he said there hadn't been any out there since 1947, that they can sense the alien presence and won't go near the place. But we couldn't book it. They're running tours out there all through the festival." "What about postponing the wedding till after the festival?" Francie asked. "Or indefinitely," she thought. "But then you wouldn't be here for the wedding," Serena said. "And besides, Russell especially wants to get married during the anniversary of the crash." "Of course he does," Francie thought. "What about the park you were going to have the wedding in?" she asked. "I told you, Russell's convinced there's going to be a thunderstorm." "I know, but it's not as if it would rain the whole day. Thunderstorms only last a half hour or so," she said, thinking of the one she'd just been through. "Couldn't you just postpone the service till it's over?" "I suppose so," Serena said, frowning. "But what if one came up during the ceremony? Everyone would get drenched and my dress would get ruined. Oh, that reminds me, you haven't seen your dress yet." She darted into the back and returned carrying a pair of high-heeled silver sandals and a garment bag. "You're going to love it," she said, laying the bag down on top of the dead alien on the gurney and unzipping the bag. "It's absinthe shimmer." Francie held her breath, praying, "Please, please don't let it be hideous." But except for the fact that absinthe shimmer was another word for the same neon green as the snow cones in cotton candy, it wasn't as bad as she'd expected. No flounces, no hoop, no ruffles. It was a single sleeveless A-line with a scoop neck, and when Serena sent her off to the bathroom to try it on, it fit her perfectly. "It's a little too long," she told Serena when she came out to show her. "That's because of your flat shoes," Serena said, and made her sit down on the edge of the flying saucer diorama to put on the high-heeled sandals. "See, it's perfect," Serena said when Francie stood up, "and that's not the best part. When you start down the aisle," she stopped talking as music from somewhere. It was the theme from the X-Files. "Sorry, it's my phone," Serena said, pulling it out of her jeans pocket and looking at it. "It's Russell." She put the phone up to her ear. "What? You're kidding." "There's definitely been a landing east of town close to where the original crash site was," Serena told Francie excitedly. "At least 3 people caught it on video." "What?" she said to Russell. "Channel 5 caught it on video too," she told Francie. "They think it crashed just like the one in 1947. She listened again. "But what about dinner? We were going to take Francie and Larry out, remember? And I need you to help me talk to the museum about the wedding arrangements. There was another pause, and then Serena said defensively, "Of course I realize how important this is." She listened again, and Francie could hear Russell shouting, "This is our chance to get incontrovertible proof, but only if we get there before the government does. If we don't, they'll cover the whole thing up." Francie wasn't the only one who could hear him. Some of the people taking pictures of the crashed UFO diorama had come over and were listening and whispering. "Where did she say it was?" typing on their phones and showing each other what they'd found. "But I can't just abandon Francie," Serena said. "I've got to take her over to the motel and get her settled. And if I don't get the wedding arrangements sorted out now, there might not be time." One of the people consulting their phone said, 24 miles west of Roswell on US 70, and there was a general exodus. By the time Serena got off the phone, she and Francie were the only ones left in the room. "If you need to go," Francie said, "I'm sure I can find the motel myself." And "No," Serena said firmly, "I'm not going until I've figured out how to make this place look presentable for a wedding," and started toward the no admittance door to get PD. He was just coming out, carrying a single small black light bulb. "This is all we've got," he said. "No, that won't work," Serena said. "We'll have to buy some others. And we're going to need extension cords for the alien twinkle lights." "Alien twinkle lights?" PD said blankly. "Yes, you know, they're like those string lights they put up on Christmas trees, but these are green. I'm going to string them across the ceiling in a crisscross pattern," she showed him, "and around the doors in the flying saucer." "I'll have to see them first," PD said doubtfully. "The museum has to approve any alterations to the space. We have to preserve the museum's integrity." "You have a dead alien being cut open on a gurney," Francie thought, "and you're worried about the museum's integrity?" "Do you have them with you?" PD asked. "Because if you don't, I can't approve." "They're in my car," Serena said. "I can go get them." "How long will it take?" PD said. "Because I need to close up the museum and take off for the UFO landing site, no doubt," Francie thought. "And what do you bet when we come back with the lights, he'll already be gone?" "I'll go get them, Serena," she said, "and you stay here and talk to PD about the rest of the arrangements." "Oh, would you, Francie?" Serena said. "Thank you," and went to get her car keys. Francie debated asking if she could change out of her maid of honor dress and high heels first, but PD was already looking at the clock on the wall and scowling impatiently. "Where's your car?" she asked Serena, and then thought, "I hope it's not parked as far away as mine is." "It's a block south of here and a block and a half east on the cross street," Serena said. "It's a black SUV, a Navigator. The lights are in a plastic bag in the back seat. Thank you for doing this. You've saved my life again." "That's what I'm here for," Francie said, and hurried through the museum and out to the street. It was much cooler outside than it had been, now that the sun was going down and the crowd of people that had jammed the street before had disappeared. There were only a couple of vendors left, shutting down their kiosks, and a small knot of tourists near the corner talking about, of course, the crash. "Are you going?" one of them asked. "I don't know," the young woman answered. "I keep thinking of that scene in War of the Worlds where they all go out to see the spaceship and get fried." "That doesn't worry me," an older guy wearing a Stetson said. "I've got my semi-automatic and my Glock." Francie hurried past them across the street and down the next block, holding her long skirt up and wishing she'd at least taken the time to change back into her flats. She started down the side street, looking at the parked cars. Every single one of them was a black SUV. She finally had to go out in the street and look at their rear ends to tell which one was the Navigator. There were 3 Navigators, all with bumper stickers that could have been put there by Serena or Russell. "My other car is a UFO," and "We are not alone," and "Wear your seatbelt. It makes it harder for the aliens to suck you out of your car." She had to click the key remote to determine which one was Serena's. The blinking lights showed her it was the one at the end of the block. Francie opened the back door and leaned in, looking for the string of lights. They weren't there, but Francie could see something on the floor of the front passenger side that looked like a tangle of grayish-white cords. If that's the alien lights, Francie thought, shutting the back door and opening the front door on the driver's side, we are never going to get them untangled. She leaned across the driver's seat. On second glance, it didn't look like a tangle of cords at all. It looked more like a large tumbleweed, like the ones she'd seen on the way down here. How did a tumbleweed get in Serena's car, she thought, and one of the tumbleweed's branches moved. Oh my God, she thought, it's not a tumbleweed, it's a... And before she could even finish the thought, a tentacle lashed out with the speed of light, whipped itself around her waist, and pulled her into the car. Okay. And from then on, things get worse.
Yay! So we're talking about that you were working on revisions and that you still have to put it out there now.
This is one that I wrote and wanted to finish before I sold it. I've had too many books where I really struggled with the deadline and felt a ton of pressure. And right now I don't really need any more pressure between the pandemic and the fact that I've had this whole series of surgeries, and I'm going to have another one here in a month. So.
And also for those who hadn't heard, you've got another bat in your house, correct?
Yes, we had another bat in our house, and we don't know. It may still be here. We haven't seen it for a week, but the animal control couldn't find it. The pest control couldn't find it. The specialists couldn't find it. And we've been sleeping with doors shut. We're dying of the heat because we now have no cross currents of air in the house. But he hasn't showed his little black wings again, so we're hoping that he got out and is not lurking and waiting to bite us and make us all get rabies, in addition to all of our other problems.
It's a vampire.
It could be. It could be. I don't know. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised at anything. So.
You had mentioned that you have a Christmas story coming out. Do you have the publication, the date on that?
Yes, it's coming out in Asimov's in the November-December issue, this upcoming November-December issue. It's called Take a Look at the 5 and 10, and it's a Christmas novella. And then it's also being published by Subterranean Press, same title. And they're coming out, I'm not sure, a little bit after the story comes out in Asimov's. So.
Right. And they just did. You just did Jack, another novella, earlier this year.
Yes, Jack came out from Subterranean Press earlier, and they're doing reprints of Doomsday Book and To Say Nothing of the Dog. And I have to say that, oh my God, the covers are amazing. I just saw the covers today, so they were gorgeous. Which I don't know if people should be reading Doomsday Book right now. I personally am trying to avoid anything grim and or about, pandemics. But other people are reading about, they like reading about the plague in the middle of a plague. So I don't know if they do. If you do, if you're one of those people, then yes, Doomsday Book will be coming out shortly in a new edition. So.
We have a cure for the bubonic plague, at least. Now.
Yeah, kind of. Well, kind of. I mean, it's still pretty deadly, even in this day and age. But not that we don't have. We don't have anything for COVID-19. So yeah, we're in better shape with the plague, which I never thought I'd say.
So now that you've completed this book, except for revisions, and you've got that Christmas story, what's next?
What's next is a new time travel novel, which I've already started doing the research on. And it's the same, connected group of Oxford time travelers and historians. And only the difference this time is that instead of the historians going through to the past, which is what all the other books have been about, a contempt, what they call a contempt, a person from the time they're living in, accidentally comes through the drop to the future instead, which is not supposed to be possible, which was thought to be completely impossible. And then they're trying to get her home, and they're trying to figure out what the heck went wrong. So that I'm looking forward to working on that full time now. So.
Wow. That sounds cool.
No title yet. Its working title is the Tintern Abbey novel, because it starts in Tintern Abbey. But I don't know what the title will really be. So,
was it last year you had your first knee replaced, or was that 2 years ago?
Oh, I can't even remember. In the past 3 years, I think I've had a knee replacement, 3 laminectomies on pieces of my spine, and for slipped discs, for herniated discs, and a fusion on one of those, and then just a month ago, just 3 weeks ago, I had another fusion done on my upper back, sort of my neck. You could see the scar if you want to see the scar. And that was great, because I was in so much pain. I did not think I was going to last until they were going to be able to do the surgery. So that's done. I'm recovering from that, and now they want to do the other knee, and I'm actually excited about that because we're home, we're self-isolating, we are wearing masks, we are staying home, we are socially distancing, and we have nothing else to do. And if I wait until after the pandemic, then I won't be able to come to Bubonicon, or I won't be able to come to Worldcon or something. And so we might as well get it done now and then get it over with, is my philosophy. This could be a really bad idea, but that's what's motivating us. So.
That's exactly what I was thinking, because you had missed a couple of Bubonicons with surgery.
With surgery, yeah.
And I was wondering does the first knee now seem to be recovered? Because the last time we saw you, you were still kind of getting used to it.
Yeah, the knee is the one that's fixed is doing great, and I'm, but it can't really ever get 100% until I can walk on both legs.
Right. Because
how you compensate and you cripple yourself up by having you know, trying to walk on the one leg and the other one won't bend, and etc. So yeah, I'm looking forward to having 2 working legs and a working back, and such as it is. I mean, I'm old, and clearly my warranty has run out, and now everything is falling apart. And I keep getting all these calls on the, you know, on the phone for, you know, your car warranty has run out. Don't you want to renew it? And I'm like, no, but if you have a warranty for my body, that would be great. That would be super. Because it seems like everything keeps going wrong. But that's just part of, you know, being old and pathetic. So it's giving me some insight into old and pathetic for characters, you know. So
Connie, I just don't think I'll ever see you as pathetic. I'm sorry.
Pathetic. Well, you should have seen me a 3 weeks ago.
But I do know you are afraid of snakes.
What?
I am afraid of snakes.
I am afraid of snakes, and I hated, that was the one bad thing. I loved living in Arizona, but I hated living in a place where there were rattlesnakes and stuff. And that figures somewhat in the book. So yeah, I didn't have to do any research on that.
Okay, Connie, we have run out of questions here. I know. Do you have anything you want to summarize with?
Well, I really miss going to Bubonicon. This is not the same, and I'm sorry that we can't all be together. It's always so much fun. It's one of our favorite conventions to go to, and I've always loved coming down to Albuquerque, and I also had to miss the Jack Williamson lectureship, which I also adore. So I'm hoping that next year, maybe by the lectureship, we'll be vaccinated and ready to go, and then really ready to go for Bubonicon. I don't want to miss another one. But this is a great idea for the interim. I'm so glad everybody's doing it. I think this is terrific, and I say hi to everybody. And if you are holed up and having a hard time with the pandemic, I'm so sorry, and we're all thinking of you. If you're not paying any attention and you're running around like some of my friends, unfortunately, oh yeah, we went to the Grand Canyon. Oh yeah, no. Well, I don't think we'll get it. I think we'll be fine. Then forget it. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. But yeah, wear your masks and stay safe, and stay safe distance from each other, and listen to Dr. Fauci. He knows what he's talking about.
Thank you, Connie.